Oh my god. It's a long story. I might have to put this to like I might have to split this to two parts actually for this one, for this Fanfic Friday. I have to split this to two parts. I don't know how I'm gonna set it. I'll probably like I don't know. But I'll figure it out. Cheerilee settled into the prompt's corner for the third time that night. Her stomach rumbled and her throat was dry. In hindsight, she should probably have put some popcorn and water there, but it was far too late for that. Besides, she turned her attention to the stage and just let her mind wander through the rhythm of the story for a while. No! My decision is final. You have to go! The king screamed at Sir Arcturus, who returned to the indignant glances with worried looks. But my king, the royal guard, they are needed to defend the capital. The tension rising in the east. We have no ponies to spare. You know this, Arcturus. I trust you in the capabilities. You will not fail me, like the others have. For if you do, I'll have to accept this Cretan's challenge myself. The king sighed, the weight of the situation suddenly pressing heavily upon his shoulders. Arcturus, seeing the king's troubled echoes on his face, fell silent and simply nodded. Without a further word, the king turned around and walked away, leaving the blinds of the royal court head down to Reginald's part of the stage. The two killers played their part so well. It's so easy to forget they were playing it all, even for cheer. Evelyn showed an almost single-minded dedication on such a script, and knowing it as thoroughly she did so obviously allowed her to concentrate on other aspects of acting. The word came on her own. Sweetie Belle had been a bit less diligent, but she possessed a way with words and vocalization that made her a natural actor, although truly ventured to guess that singing was probably not her style. It was somewhat ironic that they both find their end doing something that they were at least mildly competent at, while they're otherwise pretty much a waste of space. But Cheerilee was careful not to quite do something, not to quit a single useful skill in being a worthwhile individual. They had fallen into familiar pattern at this point. Gareth was being the third attempt to finally put a stop to Reginald's life. Sweetie Belle, like the other three before her, started to make her way to the other side of the stage, although she clearly wasn't aiming to get to the mountain. Clearly I disappeared into, or the house where the two killers had found. Instead, she would sort resolutely headed for a forest at the other part of the stage. That is to say, to the few cardboard trees together making the impression of the forest. He quickly reached her destination. As the lights above the part of the stage were turned on, the theater symphony was already waiting for Sir Arcturus there. The audience was surprised when it became clear that it was Reginald once again. The bear trap around one of his back legs, which he couldn't seem to get out of, was certainly a unforeseen twist. The knight approached carefully, but Reginald inadvertently picked up on his hoof steps for too long and craned his neck to look wrong. Oh well, seems that at least one of us is in luck today. Great night arriving during the villain's finest hour. He must be thrilled, he said bitterly, wincing slightly. Arcturus said nothing for a few moments. Are you hurt? He finally asked. The villainous pony laughed and shook his head while his voice dripping with sarcasm. Oh no, this thing is very comfortable, in fact. I'll get you out, the knight responded as he stepped forward. But if you make one strange move. He never got to finish the sentence, and suddenly something caught around his hind legs. as the world flipped upside down. Before the knight realized what was happening, he was hanging down from the ceiling by his hoops. Beyond, however, it appeared as if he was hanging from one of the cardboard trees. "Hey, let me down!" Reginald cried nervously as he opened the clamp around his leg, revealing it to be an impressive fake. Nothing more than that. Casually strolled over to the captured knight and mockingly gave him a little push, making Booty Bell swing around slightly. "Ah, dear sorceress, is it not? Not one for skulking about, Harvey. You have to be one good. You have to be quite good and not to be spotted by me, anyway. Not that, and that legendary kindness. Who knew it'd get you in the position you are now?" Out again, giving the knight another push to keep it swinging. "If you know what's good for you, Reginald, you come with me. He gets fed up, and whatever his next move may be, you'll probably not like it if you stick around here," Joyce replied, holding on into much dignity as he could while upside down and swinging around. "I've heard the same tale spun twice before, good stallion. I'm quite sick of it by now. If you don't mind, this will be goodbye. Say hello to the beast of the underworld for me." Sly sneered as he pulled one of his common hidden levers, one that had been concealed behind the tree. The door opened and the rope was released all at once, sending the pillow screaming down the open hatch on the floor. As the lights faded and Reginald disappeared off the scene. Oh, God. Cheerilee saw the floor approach rapidly. The panic coiled around her like a snake. Weren't there supposed to be a few mattresses? With a thud, she hit the ground and she lay there motionlessly. She didn't have to think about anything for a while. When she came to, she was in a dimly lit room, lying on a table of some description. She felt a nasty bump on her head, thought painfully to the rhythm of her heartbeat. When she tried to touch it with one of the hooves, she realized her front legs were tied above her head with a rope, while her hind legs were bound to the other side. The ropes were keeping her stretched out as much as possible. Oh, God. And it was more than a little uncomfortable. It would also felt as if the table had a large hole in it right underneath the middle of her back, but she couldn't for the life of her figure out why. Her first thought was that she would probably hit her head harder than she thought, and this was all a hallucination, or some sort of dream. But if it was a mighty convincing one at that. She tried looking down on the room. There was only a single weak lamp right above her. She couldn't see much. Suddenly she imagined seeing something move in the dark shadows, a shape that broke monetary the mobile shadows with a deeper kind of darkness. "Is somebody there?" she said, Phyllis said shakingly. Apple Bloom and Scooter had told her more than a few scary stories during their camping trips, and unvarying amounts of them started off just like this. She walked silently as Cheerilee stepped into the little circle of light. "Oh, Teach, I hit my head. I don't know where we are. So could you please?" she begged, nodding her head toward the ropes. Her white skin grew even paler than usual when she realized Cheerilee was carrying a hammer in her mouth. She didn't know why she had freaked her out all of a sudden. There was nothing in Cheerilee's eyes. "Miss?" she squeaked weakly. Shear's only response was to lift up one of her hoops, revealing her to be wearing another one of those special work pony shoes, not unlike the one she used to hold the chisel. This one had a far smaller hole though. The circle was completely closed off. It was designed to hold nails, while still being able to slip the shoe off the nail through the opening. Once the job was almost done. "What are you?" Sweetie Belle began, but she cut herself off with a scream as Cheerilee let her actions speak, for hammering a nail diagonally into the filly's right hoof and threw her heel so it stuck in the wooden table below her. She felt a trickle of warm blood poked the nail and bit her lip as she struggled to keep calm, for she knew simply attempting to pull her hoof away now would cause them even more damage, and more importantly pain. The ropes apparently offered her much freedom of movement, but she didn't want to take any risks. Well, not that. With tears in her eyes, she tried pleading with Cheerilee again, completely bewildered by the recent chain of events. Her mind racing to figure out what was going on and how she could wake up from this nightmare. Please, stop! What if I... Philly whimpered. Cheerilee just smiled sweetly as best as she could with the hammer between her teeth, and she prepared another nail, this time putting it in place with the Philly's other hind hoof. Meredith looked Sweetie Belle in the eyes intensely for a moment, making sure she knew exactly what was coming for her. Sweetie Belle whimpered and swallowed back a few bursts of tears before crying out, "No! No! Sis! Rudy! Anybody!" Nobody replied, let alone come to her rescue. Cheerilee hammered down for the second time, driving a nail through the Philly's left hoof, and to the table with just a few well-aimed blows. Sweetie Belle squeaked in pain as she tried not to keep still. The necessity of remaining still weighing down upon her heavily as she came to obey herself. Kind of understood the concept behind walking it off a lot better now. She had given anything to be able to just do that. She saw that Cheerilee ducked down and retrieved another nail, walking down to the other side of the table. "Oh, please, no." Wait, please stop. Philly sobbed. I had a desperate cry. Cheerilee started nailing one of her front legs down, and quickly doing the same with the other one as well. Sweetie Belle could feel pain radiating through each one of her legs. For a tormentor, it still wasn't enough. Affected by the Philly's crying and pleading, she continued on and drove the second nail to each of the Philly's legs, this time straight to the ankle, just above the hooves themselves. Little pools of blood started to form around their hooves, swollen, flowing off the edge of the table and dripping down the ground lazily. In the heat of the moment, Cheerilee dropped the hammer and tenderly held her tongue underneath one of the little streams. Savoring the taste of Sweetie Belle's warm blood as it dripped onto her mouth. It tasted even better than good, perhaps because it hadn't had much time to cool down yet. The filly was still crying softly as Cheerilee rummaged about, retrieving one of the several matches she stored in that room. She struck it against the nearby wall and wheeled her head down to light the fire underneath a metal cylinder that had reached up from just above the floor of the table itself, connected to the table in the spot where Scooter had felt a hole in the wood earlier. Bits of wood and tinder from there prepared for the occasion caught on fire quickly and continued burning nicely. More quickly hanging just underneath the ceiling. Cheerilee looked up at it, but wasn't too worried. The room was badly ventilated. There was a small fire. She wouldn't need it that much longer in any case. The minutes you passed, Cheerilee just mesmerized with the small flame she had waited, thinking of the fun she had with snails earlier. The white filly slowly stopped crying, sniffing peacefully. She looked at Cheerilee with teary eyes, confused by the mare's actions. But hoping that the cause meant she was reconsidering keeping her there against her will. "Please, miss, if you let me go, I won't tell anybody. Promise." She managed to say with a trembling lip, and Cheerilee neglected to respond. Only Sweetie Belle became aware of a panicked squeaking noise coming from somewhere in the room. The sound increased intensely, steadily, until it sounded like a great many rats fearing for their life somewhere, even though it didn't seem to make any sense. She had some trouble locating the source of the noise, so she suddenly realized it came from right underneath the table. The thing Cheerilee was staring at, but which she could not see. As her teacher stepped closer to the table, she mentally recoiled. The mare simply leaned in and reached underneath the table itself, grabbing hold of a metal plate on the top of the cylinder with her teeth and pulling it out, removing the last barrier between the cylinder and the hole underneath Sweetie. In doing so, the squeaking quickly escalated to unprecedented levels, so Sweetie Belle couldn't make head or tail of it. What did rats have to do with the metal plate? Suddenly the Philly gasped. When her eyes grew wide with fear, suddenly little claws scratched her back, and the trapped rats surged up. Oh god, not the rats! Ugh! From the overheated cylinder to find a way to escape the flames. Even in their frenzied state, they recognized the difference and hardness between the mental prison and the Philly's kindred flesh, and they were fully prepared to put some effort in creating a way out if it meant living to squeak another day. Many mouths and claws worked together, and they started to gnaw and tear at the bully's back, her terrified screams of pain not managing to extract any mercy from the strong abandonment. She tried arching up her back to nip it under the reach, but also had set them free, while her body stretched to its limit and going in place for the rope and nails. She couldn't even lift it a tenth of an inch. Her eyes quickly ripped away patches of her coated skin relentlessly, killing on and gnawed her flesh. Before screaming as she thrashed her head about and side to side, unable to do anything as the rat started to devour her alive, piece by piece, like a well-oiled taking implement as it ripped and tugged at her muscles and ligaments, tearing up sinews and arteries, both as they pushed onwards. Several of them came face to face with her spine, decided to simply gnaw around it, and it proved to be a not too hard to crack. They were aiming to break free. They didn't have to bone pick at any of the elements that made up Sweetie's body in particular. Philly herself shrieked like a banshee, appearing in her mouth and her muscles convulsed and body thrashed out as much as it could, to say not much at all. Regardless of what, she still moved enough for the nails to pull at the wounds they inflicted on her, causing the hole to become larger and bleeding but more usually. But this, not painful, although painful, was only the least of her troubles. The rat's combined efforts finally broke through layers of skin and muscles that erupted into her abnormal cavity, clawing up past her intestines, or in some cases, simply gnawing through. The impression of torturous feeling soon turned Sweetie's green nodule as her stomach buckled and she vomited, purposely managing to spray it next to her on the table, with some of it getting into herself, and she could only barely lift her head up to aim it away. The ensuing screams were music to Cheer's ears, and copious amounts of blood started streaming out of the bottom of the metal cylinder, falling down the fire with a hiss. Her legs got all wobbly with excitement. The rats continued to fight and claw their way to the tree belt. Her screaming slowly restricted to a wet, gurgling noise. With every passing second, more of her internal organs got ripped into shreds as the disoriented rats tried to find a way out. Two of them stayed right on target as he started advancing in the upper part of the Philly's abdomen, set to the point where they had entered. Some of the other rats were clueless though as they kept going around in circles, started off in a completely wrong way, digging horizontal tunnels, a door through the belt. Oh god. The rats tore through her diaphragm, the fully breathing and shallow and troubled. Cheerilee started taking up bets for herself as what would kill this filly first. Loss of blood and inevitable destruction of some vital organ or the other. Wasn't long after the filly's stomach said the burrowed out, before suddenly the blood-soaked rat tore away the last patch of skin with sharp claws and poked his head out of her stomach. Cheerilee, the small furry critter, was the most adorable thing she had seen in quite some time. especially the way it looked around the room with curious eyes. Okay, it now haunted way fully out of Sweetbell's warming rail its way down the wiggling body and off the table, soon followed by a dozen of gremlins that led to the meaty container and scurried off in the darkness. Pale, furry, Philly's body convulsed so widely with shock that not even the ropes were enough to hold her down anymore. She pressed, shook against her bindings, and a stream of blood flowed out of her mouth and down her chin, nails ripping through her flesh, and simply getting pulled onto the table together. After a few violent seconds, during which looked to the rat to escape, all the nails ripped either through her flesh or her hoof, or both, but the filly was already too far gone to notice or care. Her body convulsed with one last time as she let out a horrible and choking sound, and then the filly finally passed away. Oh God. In the shudering silence, the only thing that could still be heard was the dripping blood and Cheerilee's heavy panting, the blood flowing out of the cylinder, its long since extinguished the cracked flames of the mare had lit earlier. A few moments passed, during which Cheerilee tried to control the trembling of her body, but suddenly a soft creaking noise could be heard. The reason for Sweetie's choking sounds towards the end became once apparent as her mouth opened, one of the rats forcing his way out of her throat and climbing past her teeth to freedom. Cheerilee burst at once into hysterical laughter, still in the throes of hilarity, when she took the stairs back up to get to the filly's and Colt's dressing area. But on the way up, one question was in her mind. Why had no comedian ever thought of this before? Death was simply hysterical. Cheerilee made her way through the stage or backstage area, albeit a good distance away from the whole snail's thing, and headed for the dressing room. After that scene with Sweetie Belle, two soliloquy scenes followed, one with Reginald and another with King, since she took her sweet time. The first one had almost certainly ended already, and from there past a few corridors leading up to the stage itself. She could still hear Evelyn's voice fade. If she hurried, she might still be able to assist Snips in finding his costume for the last scene. If he was indeed as dumb as he looked, and hadn't been able to find it on his own yet. Sorry. As she rounded a corner, Fenton crashed into her at high speed. Courtney stumbled back a few steps in the air and got slammed on her own lungs. She looked down and she got her bearing. She saw Snip sitting there on his spot. She gave his head to dispel the dizziness that set due to the crash. Snips, what are you doing here? You're not even past him. You need to get ready for the last scene. She said with a very reprimand. Sighing Colton over Mayor looked hugely relieved to see a teacher. He immediately scrambled to his feet, tears in the corner of his eyes, and he started talking. Oh, Miss Cheerilee, it's terrible, he yelled out. I was looking for my costume and I couldn't find it, so I went looking for you and I couldn't find you, but I found Sales and he took a huge breath at the point, obviously struggling to get words out. And he's dead. Cheerilee's world grind into a halt with those words, cold sweat breaking out across her forehead as she felt the slightest hint of panic rise up from her stomach like a lit pile. She strayed from her schedule, and she just found out what would come to cost her. What that would come to cost her. Her mind worked frantically to figure out a way to minimize the damage caused, to somehow soothe the cold enough so that her plan would go through. But no easy solution presented itself. Snips, on the other hand, seemed to pull himself together, turning around to take a few steps. Come on, he called back to her. Can't continue to play now. We gotta tell the others. Cheerilee felt a flock of lice drop to her stomach and suddenly Colt gasped off. No, if he reached anything else, he would. With a sudden burst of speed, he had been dazzled even Rainbow Dash. She rushed forward, catching him for a few seconds. To a minute, she slipped into the full Gavin karate kick, using no kinetic energy in a single swoop, which that hit good on the side. Swoop gave a kick, then crashing in the rear guard wall, on which it fell down from the deep. Cheerilee silently thanked Rainbow Dash for all the time she come to give the kids in karate lessons. Some of it obviously stuck in her head for over the years. Before the Colt could do any more than roll onto his back, she descended upon him like a hawk, keeping him down with one hoof as she started beating him in the face with the other in those of blind rage. There was one who stood upon her in reaching her goal, and she could think of nothing but removing him from her path right away, no matter the cost. Snitch feebly tried to defend himself, but he was not smaller than the mare, not to mention the unicorn, while she had all the physical powers like prowess of an herb pony to fall back on. The beating continued mercilessly, his face swelling up and blood rushing out of the nose, and down from the places where she broke through the skin. An act of inspiration to subconscious parts of his mind reached out in magical reserves she didn't think he had. His horn started to grow green with power. All of a sudden, a wave of arcane energy zipped past Cheerilee's head, making a long, thin cut between the lengthening of the sheet. The future-covered mane gasped in surprise and blood started trickling down from the wound, which wasn't all that serious, although it did sting a little. Her gaze dropped down the Colt's cutie mark. She realized she should have seen it coming. His specialty obviously involved cutting of some kind, and apparently he wasn't restricted to the use of scissors. Sometimes a subtle change in the aura around the horn warned Cheerilee that another spell was about to be flung at her. With another option in mind, she raised her hoof before ramming it down to dish out another punch. And this time she didn't aim at Kirsten's face, but for the horn itself. As she hit her target, the Colt's head jerked back and groaned as the horn tugged at his skull. The skull discharging into the wall behind him instead of the intended target. Magical light around the horn flickered at the moment before coming back to the force. And Cheerilee just knew that the next spell was already on its way. She once again started raining down punches, now aiming all of them at the horn, spells exploding against the wall, stealing it far left and right, sending tiny pieces of rubble flying everywhere. First the Colt took the beating like a stallion, but as the mare hit the same spot time and time again, it became increasingly difficult for him to fight back against the pain that was riding him in the skull. All of a sudden, a flag started to appear in the horn, as a one final strike and Cheerilee broke it clear off. And it happened, magic exploded into the room, throwing Cheerilee off the Colt and making her side several meters onto the floor, moving her side until she came to a halt a few meters away from Snips. The magical feedback seemed to have been a lot worse for the sign pony itself, and he lay witlessly on the floor. She scrambled into a fuel group. The future mare picked up Snips' horn, while she passed it on the way to his form, clutching it between her front hooves like a dagger, she kneeled over him. With moments of hesitation, she ran the horn down straight into his chest. Blood spattered everywhere and welled up underneath Cheerilee's hooves. The Colt's eyes shot open and stared first at the chest and then at her. Why? She managed to whisper hoarsely, like that fled from his body. She really didn't bother to answer the question. Simply pulling her out of his body and ramming it back into his chest a few times with measure. so he stopped moving altogether. Should be heavily from actual physical exertion this time. She rolled off Snip's corpse, trying to catch her breath as she just lay on the cold floor. Killing him like this had been quite daring in its own right, even if it did end rather fast. She liked over her own cheeks, simply her own blood for the first time finding them all. Not altogether pleasant, and it did feel a bit strange. She was glad she'd been able to try to struggle for survival approach, at least once though, even if her original plan for Appleton to him had been 1,000 times more elegant. The realization suddenly hit her, striking force. Her plans for Snips and Appleton. Their plan required both of them to maneuver each other into the right places, even after that, the next few steps also required interaction between them. Now if Snips is actually gone, that can't possibly work. And that was the least of her troubles. They still had the same scene to go, and Snips was supposed to be in it. There had been countless side plans in the spot, but she rejected all of them. Hold on a second. I can't believe I've been working on this for so long. I am surprised. But I guess it makes sense. Actually, no, it doesn't. As far as this is going still. She just rejected them all out of hand for being too ridiculous, too short-sighted, too dangerous, too risky. She began to fear the situation was hopeless, that she had finally maneuvered herself into a corner that she could not escape from. To keep the audience in the dark, the final scene had to go through without a hitch, so someone had to go out there and play against that balloon. With no pony else left in this original cast, she would only count on herself. He had to improvise it, and it probably would not work. It was the best shot she had, the only shot she had. She quickly galloped toward the dressing area and headed for the back room, wiping the blood off herself with a rag, before opening the chest that held Reginald's final costume. It was way too small for her, of course, but included a particularly dashing brooch she could use as a fastener. Cheerilee quickly picked up the brooch and continued on towards the back of the room, where several bolts of cloth lay stashed. She chose a black piece that was enough to fit around her body and swung over her back, using the brooch as a clasp on her neck, and ended up with something vaguely reminiscent of a hooded cloak. It wouldn't hold up to scrutiny, but since the audience could only see her from far away, it might just do. At least she hoped so. As a finishing touch, she added a knife. She slid a knife she found from a nearby shelf to the fabric, improvising some manner of sheath, so that the blade rested through her against her chest, relatively hidden. The mare then dashed off in the direction of the stage, realizing she had no time left to waste. She brought up a mental map of the building and the fly to figure out exactly where she had to go. The next scene, Reginald was supposed to emerge out in the mountain cave after the king had climbed up that mountain to meet his challenge. Knowing that, Cheerilee rounded a turn and rushed up a flight of stairs, emerging at last into a dark cave on top of the mountain. From there, she could see the silhouettes, but she was quite sure the darkness still hid her from them. Judging from the fact that Appleton was nowhere in sight, she had made it in time. She quietly congratulated herself over this accomplishment, and she took a few moments to catch her breath and rest up, fearing that she may soon need the energy. Great. It only took her a minute to start hearing the filly's voice coming closer, and pretty soon after that she came into view, having made her way up the mountain slope. She was wearing relatively simple attire compared to this royal mantle from earlier. She had a sheathed toy sword with her, attached to her side, where she could easily reach for the pommel of her teeth. Reginald, I came to face your challenge. Come out and fight like a stallion. King Golden Crown roared, looking around defiantly. Cheerilee took one deep breath and hid her face a bit deeper under the hood, even though she wasn't sure why. It wouldn't fool anyone, or not for very long at least. Swallowing back her fear, she stepped out of the cave and into the highest point of the stage, the mountain summit, located several meters above the mines. Clearly had disappeared from the earlier, but as it was placed all the way to the back of the stage, even the ponies occupying the front rows could still see the actors up there relatively easily. Alright. Cheerilee could hear the crowd talking and whispering at each other as she stepped out of the shadows. They were obviously wondering what in the hell was she doing up on the stage. And when herself was even more confused, she had expected to see Snips there on how to teach her. Miss Cheerilee, why? She began to say quietly. I see you have come, O great king. I applaud your bravery. In token of my respect, I shall face you here in my true form. My one true form. Up until now, witchcraft and sorcery may have hidden me from your eyes, but no longer. Tonight we should fight an honest battle. Cheerilee's voice boomed through the complex, easily going over apples. The explanation sounded tricky, given her own ears, but it was the best she'd been able to come up with at such short notice. In sudden moment of inspiration, she gave Appledoom a conspirator's wink, praying that the filly would play along. Whatever the filly had consumed cheer meant by it. She suddenly grinned and nodded eagerly, as if to say, "Oh, I got it. Oh, fiend, I know there was more output when you bested my most trusted advisors. Witchcraft, this explains that indeed," the king responded, Appledoom's accent playing up slightly as they strayed from the original script, but a furious mayor couldn't have cared less at the point. So relieved to see the other pony running along with the ruse. "Well then, let us dance." Cried out as she reached the right hoof under the cloak and drove knife, keeping the 3 hooves on the floor as she pointed the blade at her opponent. Billy in turn took the pommel of a toy sword, and the teeth resumed the combative stance. The sword was far too big for her to carry in the hoof. Cheerilee gave her a knife. So birds was the only option. That alone made Han heavily favor the mare, and on top of one of them was wielding a real knife, while the other one was only holding a harmlessly harmless plastic toy. The entire fighting scene had been carefully choreographed, and so Appledoom naturally stuck to her entire moves, and she expected Cheerilee to play by the book as well. Cheerilee would certainly have been capable of doing so had she been so inclined, since she was the one who planned out the entire thing. She was, however, extremely anxious to get it all over with quickly. As soon as Appledoom advanced, Cheerilee stepped forward as well, intentionally allowing herself to get within reach of the filly's sword. Instead of parrying Appledoom's swing with her dagger, as Billy expected, she jerked her head back towards the dodge it, confusing the hay on Appledoom and throwing her balance off completely. The future mare quickly followed up with an attack of her own, which knocked a nasty cut over the filly's left cheek. Almost a twin the cut truly still hit on her hood. Appledoom let out a nasty, sharp cry. Wait, where am I at? I just lost it, I think. Wait, I think I lost it. What? Huh? Oh, I found it now. It took a while. There we are. Wow, I can't believe I almost lost where I was at. And I'm like more than halfway done. Yeah, I'm only more than halfway done. Appledoom let out a sharp cry, more out of surprise than out of pain. She stumbled backwards. She looked at the red liquid dropping down to the tip of her knife, and then Cheerilee, and stared back coldly as easily could. Wait, is this a She began saying the words muffled and humming in her mouth, but Cheerilee didn't at all feel like letting down, brushing her down, and simply rushed forward. Alabama panicked and swung her sword, hitting Cheerilee right in the face in the process. Cheerilee almost lost her balance, and as her head gets slammed to the side, somehow she managed to turn the movement to an 180-degree spin, plucking her hind legs at the filling. She hit her right in the chest, and the sheer force of the blow sent the little one flying across the stage until it landed roughly in her back, a meter or two away. Philly took a deep breath, and feeling pain in her chest, alerting her to the fact that she was not all, she was all, she was, at all, she was, oh my god, that all was not well. She didn't seem to be able to draw as much air as usual, either. She realized Cheerilee had probably broken some of her ribs. Still felt dazed from the hanging, too. Teacher, however, wasted no time and descended upon the fallen apple like a vulture, ramming the knife through her right shoulder to the wooden floor below, effectively pinning her down. So he held back his shriek pain and swung his sword again, hitting Cheerilee in the head once more, and barely phased him there, though it did piss her off. All of a sudden, she brought her head down and head-butted at Billy brutally, hoping to knock her out. That was exactly what happened, and Livingston's eyes rolled back in her head. Suddenly, becoming acutely aware of his audience staring at her, Julie remembered her last line, the words traditionally spoken at the end of the original play. Even though she had the chance to change up a bit, she put her head as if she had fatally wounded by the last blow, and it spoke dramatically. Oh, what cruel fate! Now we both must die. But I implore you all, stallions mares, never forget Reginald the Sly. And she allowed herself to fall to the floor, remaining there motionlessly. She had never understood those words herself, or the moral lesson they were supposed to convey, but they got the job done. The technician got the cue, and the curtain started to close. The audience started stomping their hooves down on the floor to cheer to show their approval. The play had been, the whole, pretty well done. And the courteous audience ending did add that certain something. Not to mention the last fighting scene that would be gorgeous. Oh yeah, it didn't look like they were just pretending at all. Relief Cheerilee saw the curtain finally close completely, hiding the stage from the audience's sight. She read the word that Philly himself would have to start breaking down the stage props and clearing up the filling stage area right away, since some other group would come to life needed the building later for that week. That meant nobody was expecting them back home anytime soon. She threw a glance at the unconscious Philly next to her, who still had the knife embedded on her shoulder, and smiled. She had all the time she needed to figure out something new for this one now. All the time in the world. Out of the room in her self-awake state, suddenly felt a cold glass being pressed against her lips. She instinctively opened her mouth to drink, quickly swallowing what she believed to be water. Excuse me. It wasn't. I mean, it only took her a few sips to realize, even for in her groggy state, that what she was drinking wasn't water at all. For one, it had sort of metallic aftertaste. For another, there was small bits and pieces of it, and that sort of resembled. But once she was right awake, coughing and spitting out one last of the fluid in her mouth. She found the solid wooden table laid in strips. I don't know what that accent was for. She saw Cheerilee. Stop with the accent, please. Stop. She saw Cheerilee standing next to her. Sorry, I just had to smack myself in the face just for that accent. Holding a glass filled with red liquid, grinning wickedly at her. I thought you liked it. Cheerilee made it herself. You know, she really poured herself into it, you could say. The mirror cracked menacingly as the horror flashed across the Philly's face. Wait a second. Spooler, you, killed her? Oh, yes. Afraid so. She was the first to go, you know. And you're the last, Mir said, feeling uncharacteristically chatty. Philly turned pale. You killed all of them? Oh, goodness, no. She replied, grinning with soft pride over the Philly's face. I didn't kill snails. That was on you. The way you made the spotlight, or sun you wish, fell down on them. Glorious. If it was so glorious. Tears filled Evelyn's eyes as if realization hit her that all her friends were gone and that her fate wasn't likely to be any different. Why? She managed to let out as Cheerilee picked up a knife and held it in the light presently. Why? Because you all deserve it. Each and every one of you is a blight upon this land, a weed in my garden. Excuse me. And it's time to end it. The mayor said coldly as if she positioned herself at the end of the table near the filly's hind legs. So shall we? Slowly and carefully, the mayor made an insertion above the filly's hoof, cutting nearly around the circumference of her leg. Evelyn tried to squirm. The leather straps effectively held her in place as they dug into her skin. She slipped the knife under her skin, carefully cutting the skin loose from the filly's flesh. The pain this caused was immense. Okay, that I deserved for drinking that bit, for gurgling up all that pop, yeah. Sorry. Wow, I totally deserve that. Not exactly, but you get the point. The filly clenched her teeth and refused to acknowledge it, every bit as stubborn as her sister was, not wanting to give Cheerilee the pleasure of hearing her scream. Cheerilee obviously thought she'd cut enough for now. As she took hold of the flap of the skin she cut loose with her teeth, suddenly she pulled it off the filly's leg, ripping more skin off as she went, laying the filly alive. Despite her great effort, this was simply too much for anyone to endure. Quietly, Evelyn's scream rang out throughout the empty complex. She would continue making new insertions every time she accidentally tore the skin completely off, and then continued the flying down from there. Reaching half of the filly's leg was a bloody heap of bare flesh. A little twitch going through the exposed muscles of agonizing experience, blood dropping from everywhere. But still, Cletier showed no sign of stopping as she continued cutting and flaying, slowly moving up. Eventually, the filly's entire leg was a disgusting, skinless mess. Cheerilee sadistically breathed out on it for a while, making Evelyn shiver in pain. A little light sparkled in Cheer's eyes as she bowed down and extended her tongue. Extended it extended her tongue, slowly dragging it all the way from the filly's hoof up to the flank. Well, the mare thought the scream that followed would deafen her permanently, but before she pulled her tongue back into her mouth and savored the taste. You're quite good on it taste. She whispered into Philly's ear. Fuck you. I figured. The King Crusader managed to stammer. Cheerilee laughed, amused by the apple bloom's defiant nature. This one may be able to take some punishment yet. She diligently started cutting off the filly's other leg, making a long incision across the length of the leg this time, pulling up the skin off towards the side instead of upwards. The filly still tried to resist and keep up appearances. As she slowly started sobbing and shivering, the pain became too much to bear. The breathing became ragged as her skin, turning piles of vividly scarlet blood covered the floor. I can't bring myself to quit. As she gained more confidence with the knife, her movements started to become quicker, and in one fluid motion she first cut the skin from Billy's left flank, and then she moved right over to cut the skin off the right. She picked up thin pieces of skin with her teeth and held them before Billy, tossing those inside. Saw those? That's where your key mark would have been. If you had one. You never will now. Guess your appreciating days are over. The realization finally did what the pain hadn't been able to do. It shattered Billy's last vestige of resistance. From one moment to the next, she started crying loudly, her body shaking wildly, losing way more energy on all that than she should. And then started cleaning up strips of skin into Billy's chest till the word "weed" was spelled out there. And now Billy lost enough blood and wasted enough energy, and its response started to become sluggish. Really, she was fun. She started poking the knife in a few pressure points, but her reaction was so underwhelming that she shrugged and decided to call it quits. She undid the nail butter strap and pulled the tub out under the table. The exact one she had squeezed glue out of earlier. The screw was still there. Not wanting to simply wait until her moves let out, the mare pulled her off the table by her hair, dropping her straight into the tub. No. I can't. I almost can't do this. A piece of the gourd suddenly overwhelming her, stung her on the bare flesh, and she let out a soft hiss, rubbing from the suffocating scent of the blood, and saw his eyes dripping slowly by. She didn't realize what she'd been dropped in. Motion seemed to renew her strength, and she scrambled to get out of the tub. Surely would have none of it. Filled with her hair and a hoop, and forced her down into the pool of blood, keeping her mouth and nostrils under. Billy screamed, swallowing unbalanced mouthfuls of glue in the process, and she thrashed her legs out wildly, and the contents of the tub everywhere. All over her mouth. She kept in there firmly. Started to see the film clearly struggling died down slowly. And the more started to burn more. Trying to breathe anyway. Moving among the blood and gore. Her last erratic twitch and wondered like remained motionless. Oh, here's your cold mare. For seconds before finally releasing Billy. His mutilated body just kept laying there still in the pool of blood and had looked at Scooter and Cheerilee knew her task finally come to an end. All that was left was simply clean up. She sat my god. She sat back and cried tears of joy, overcome with emotion as she realized she might finally get her life back on the rails now. With new classes each year, past nice fillies and colts instead of the monsters she just had. She felt proud and played her part in making Equestria a better place and proud of protecting the future generations from poisonous influences that would have hampered their growth, in turn would have hampered others. Consequences would have been quite dire, to say the least. Humming a cheerful tone, she went to get cleaned up once again, and then went over to her stash of flammable liquids. It takes some time by herself, but she was the job done. She felt like she was walking on clouds. Nothing would stop her now. Fire sprung up all around her, stopping her right in her tracks. Stop. What? She realized it too late. She had never thought this through. She heard flammable stuff everywhere and lit a few fires in different places, but she underestimated the speed at which the flames would spread. Now that she was here, not too far from the exit, and unable to proceed through the problem she herself had created. She backed up into the center of the room, not so far as far away from the flames as possible, but as soon as she got there, she was already had to jump out of the way from a burning crossbeam, which only barely missed her. Various patches of fur on her body were already singed from the flames, but could barely dodge. Suit and ash covered it from tip to hoof. Smoke started to fill the room, and Cheerilee felt herself slowly suffocating as every breath she took threw some more of it into her lungs. As her breathing controlled, she snapped and softly, wondering if the day of liberation would also be the day she died. She consoled herself. A noble death after being compelled from the mission is definitely better, infinitely better than the life she'd been living before. Anyway, those Colts and Phillies are still alive. I'm not even doing this for fun. This is literally happening. Just as she started to think the situation was hopeless, first a purple light exploded from the exit ahead, with splintering in the explosion. Surprisingly fast, seemed to have sucked the life out of most of the flame between her and the exit. Summoning the last of her strength, Cheerilee made a beeline for the exit. As she got closer, she could hear voices talking to each other instantly, already thinking of their voices. Do it again, try. Do it again. I. That took a lot out of me. I think it was the best way to. Cheerilee burst out the burning building, smoke trailing behind her. She collapsed in the grass just outside the visitor complex. Immediately, several ponies rushed forward to help her and looked up when she saw Twilight Sparkle and Raindash accompanied by Applejack's Faraday and Fluttershy standing down here. Turned looked in her eyes. Ugh, jeez. This is never gonna end. Are you okay? Wait, are you okay? Where are the children? I teleported us all here as soon as we saw them not smoke. Quiet said, Father nodding. Julia opened her mouth, her voice hoarse and cracking from the smoke as she spoke. There, inside the fire. No idea how. She had to put the effort to go her. Shoot, we can't wait. We need to get them now. Ambrose cried out. Just wait. Mary replied calmly. I could see other ponies crossing the river, but pretty soon. Raindash didn't listen. Unsuspecting trademark speech, he dashed through all the flames and disappeared in the building. He followed by Rarity and Applejack, who were both yelling the name of their respective young sisters. What now? Sorry, I should shake me. She and P5 moved to try direction. Follow the back line! Neil Coin commanded. The other two ponies quickly dashing off in the direction of the recognize the other ponies in the one long line. As the first bucket got past the front of the room, drawing fire, with Cheerilee and Twine could see the efforts was in vain. Water didn't seem to make it any different. The bucket after bucket was thrown into the flames. It kept getting bigger and bigger. Bigger and hotter. And there where she lay on the ground, Cheerilee suspected that any evidence against her might already be long lost. She wasn't willing to take her to bed. Only a perfect pony seemed to get fed up, waiting and worrying about her friends. An idea came to her. She called upon magical reserves, straining herself to the maximum as her horn began to glow more and more. Ponies watching as the purple trail of light sprang up between the river and the theater, and the river started to alter its course. In a matter of seconds, a wall of water suddenly rushed forward and the theater walls, crushing everything in its path. Cheerilee was hit by a rush of panic. This just might be enough to put out the fire. She shouldn't have worried, although an unleashed fury of the river did indeed put an end to the flames, and also washed away the weakened theater building itself, smashing all against the ground. Twilight, exhausted, stopped applying her magical might to it. The water of the river soon started to recede, dragging a lot of rubber and light with it. Twilight looked around the disaster area, found fearfully reviewed notes. She took breath and suddenly leave. Three friends climbed from between the rubble, battered and bruised, and a little singed, but otherwise okay. The filled and clothes they'd been looking for nowhere in sight. Twilight threw a few questioning glances at her friends. They all shook their heads and tears filled their eyes. Nobody had managed to find any of them in the inferno. That's the reality of the situation hit them. Their emotions got the best of them and they let go their tears. They were quickly joined by the weakened Cheerilee, who shed tears of pure relief. A week or two had passed since the incident. A lot happened. Several investigations had looked into the cause of the fire, but the fire itself and the water that followed had destroyed anything that could have given the investigators even the slightest clue. Cheerilee always looked confused and heartbroken whenever she got questioned, claiming that she was taking care of something on the other side of the complex when the fire broke out. Although some ponies wondered if this could be considered some form of negligence, no official complaints against her were filed. The cleaning effort had been ongoing for an entire week, and even now bits and pieces of rubble were still turned up here and there. During the weekend following the disaster, a joint burial ceremony was held for all the pilgrims who died at once, although all the caskets had been filled with stolen belongings of the dead, since none of the bodies had been found. Every pony got very emotional, including Cheerilee, who shot tears of joy as her struggles finally came to an end. A lot of ponies trying to tell her that it was okay and things would be alright, or that it wasn't her fault. Cheerilee constantly had to take care not to accidentally respond to these in the wrong way, so she was quite relieved when it was finally over. And so 2 weeks passed. Cheerilee grunted and moaned, sweating profusely in the warmth of the sun. It had taken her a lot of effort, and she was currently being sore in the morning, but she didn't care. She finally done it. She took a few steps back to admire her work, and marveled at the perfect state her garden was once again in. There, and then she made a solemn vow, a sacred pact with herself. I truly will never let any weeds take over my garden ever again. Wow. And that's the end. That's really the end of the story. Wow. And then the rest is all freaking comments. That's, yeah. That's the end. The rest is all freaking comments about the stupid thing, and yeah. So, yeah. Thanks for showing me a, 3-hour story. A 3-hour word story. Yeah. Thanks for showing me a 3-hour word story. That completely ruined my whole, week of curling up in a ball over there. Oh my god. Oh dear. That was horrible. I'm sorry. That I literally seriously feel like throwing up now. Just because of that. And I'm trying to stop myself from doing it. Because that was, oh my god. I'm seriously actually literally trying to stop myself from doing it. Because I know you guys don't want me to do it, and yeah. But yeah. So that was like. So yeah, this is probably gonna be most likely split into 2 parts. I don't know when. I don't know if I'm gonna be posting these both parts in the 2 weeks, like in the same week, like these 2 parts in the same week, or if I'm going to be posting one part of it in 1 week, or one part of it, like one part of it this week, and then one part of it next Friday, or if I'm going to be posting them both at once. But yeah, most likely, probably most likely posting it probably this Friday, posting them both if I can. So yeah, yeah. So this is Cheerilee's Garden. Yeah, extremely grimdark, alright. Very, very extremely grimdark and gory. By, Unihim, or Unahim, or whoever the fuck it is. I'm not gonna have any hate against the guy who requested it, because I am good friends with him. And all that. So, yeah. And he didn't really have any of those crappy reasons that the guy that requested Rainbow Factory had, which is the reason why I said fuck that guy. So this guy, the guy who requested this fanfic, Cheerilee's Garden, he was my friend, and he's my friend. So I'm not gonna have any hate crimes against him, even though, and also he didn't really have a reason, like, oh, just so you can hate a certain character and all that. And it's like, dude, I mean, I still want to say something against that, but on the other hand, I just want to forget that story. So yeah, this is Cheerilee's Garden, like I said, by Unihim. If you like this, if you like me being tortured again, please put a like. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna say something. When I heard this story, when I heard the title Cheerilee's Garden, I wasn't thinking anything like torturing like this. I really wasn't thinking anything like gory in the top of my head. I really wasn't thinking anything like, oh, this is gonna be something grimdark and gory about someone killing another pony. No! I was not thinking that at all. I was thinking a little pony. I was thinking of Cheerilee trying to take care of her garden. That was all it was in the end. And all the whole story was about was freaking play while trying to kill a pony. Seriously. Anyways, this actually reminded me of some sort of movie. I believe it was like Saw or something. And I think someone has actually freaking said something in this. Yeah, it says this one comment. It says, "Don't read if you hate the Saw series or can't stand gore." Really? But like when I first saw the request, I wasn't expecting anything gory or violent. I was only expecting a garden. I was only expecting a peaceful garden or something, or some sort of thing happening to the garden and someone has to do something to take care of the garden. That's all I was literally expecting. But I guess from what my sort of description of Fanfic Friday is, where I torture myself, I guess that has to be the response. That has to be totally, completely the response, where no one can actually make a peaceful story. Where no one can send a peaceful request to me. So, pretty much I have no trust in anyone. But I can understand my friend, so, yeah. We're still friends. If you're still watching this. If you're watching this, we're still friends. So, yeah. And I can understand what people are saying. This is worse than Saw, because Saw is killing adults, and this one is killing children. This was a sad story. I'm just gonna say that. A very sad story. It had nothing to do with gardens. Nothing to do with gardens. But it was actually implemented sort of in the story, so whatever. But yeah, like down below, comment down below if you have another fanfic request, because I only have one more story left in my fanfic requests. yes, I only have one more story left, and that's it. One more story left in my fanfic request. So if you guys have any fanfic requests, post them down below. They're open anytime. The fanfic requests are open anytime. So yeah, you guys have an unlimited amount of time to post requests, but only in the the Fanfic Friday. I can't talk because of all this. Like my mouth is just feeling like I want to throw up, but I don't really. But I'm trying to stop myself from doing it. So I think I already said that. So yeah, put a like down below if you enjoyed my torture, and if you have any fanfic requests, post them down below in the comments as well. Only in these kind of videos, only in the Fanfic Friday videos. Any of the Fanfic Friday videos, you can post a comment, and I will read them. So, yeah. Like I've already said, Cheerilee's Garden. This is Cheerilee's Garden by Yumohan. And I've been Martin here, and see you guys in the next time.